thing. I was thinking we could put him like.
Alright, I think
Okay,
this
I
one's
actually
up.
have a pretty good place to put him. He can like
Why?
stand
Why do
here.
you say
Jay,
put him? Like you're like such like you're using like a possessive pronoun, bro.
Jay, we can put him there. Put him there. All right. So I think I know where to put Jay.
How do I mute on the audio mixer? It's looking confusing. Advanced. Okay.
Here. Looking.
Wait, I'm locked in on building
Looking.
right now.
Look in general. Jay. Look in general. Also, are we gonna change the EFC side as well?
What do you mean?
Oh, okay. So
Is it just gonna
are we?
stay Nightmares versus Fairbanks?
Until that game's over, because that game is just such a big deal. You can't have anything
Oh,
about it.
oh, all right, I guess.
Alright, the stream is on. It's got the
It's
timer
really
going.
that game is basically Ultimate Bowl favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Go.
Um,
More realistically, whoever wins that game is going to win the Ultimate.
Jay,
Yeah.
I can't hear him like at all.
I
Oh,
can.
I think I turned off his on. Let me look to see if I turned off his volume for me.
Alec, you can hear me, right?
'Cause I think.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright.
Hang on.
Yeah, he
So,
turned it down.
tell him the
because
stream started up and the timer's going.
I think I turned you down last night. Yeah, I did.
You can
All
hear
right,
me now, Cart?
speak. Yeah, I can hear you now. All right.
Alright. Stream's up, the
It's a
timer's
little
going.
rough.
All right, stream's up.
Yeah, the timer's going though.
Okay.
Do
Send.
you have us muted? Like, can people hear us?
I'm trying to figure that out right now. They can hear you, but I can mute it in a
Send
second.
it. Send it in announcements.
Nobody's tuned in yet, anyways, because I haven't shared link.
Yeah, put it in USSN announcements, and I'll share it everywhere else.
I'll just send link. I don't have or I'll do it in the server, but I don't have what is it? I don't have perms to fucking something. God damn it, what is it? I don't have perms to. Yeah, I don't have perms to obtain media.
It's fine. Just put it in USSN HQ announcements, and I'll ping everyone else in other servers.
Alright.
Cause I also put it in UFL as well. Actually, a lot of our watchers are from the UFL, anyways. So.
Alright. Fuck, I need to add the title. It still says season 1, episode 2. Or 1.
Yeah. Just put episode 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I'll
about to
put
do.
season 1, cause whatever.
I got it way better set up this time, so.
Yeah, that's good. Do you have like the headline stuff and the stuff to put on the bottom?
I put a little thing at the bottom. It just says nightly news brought to you by Cart90 Alec. I don't really have too much. I'll figure that out because I was expecting Alec to do it and I didn't really have much time to finish that. But we're
Okay.
pretty set up for the stream though.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on me.
Okay. Episode 2, night, USSN, night.
Alec, put the game link in announcements.
Wait, I'm not finished.
Yeah.
Take me another 2 minutes. 1 actually. I'm basically finished. So I'm just putting the sign up so idiots can tell what room it is.
Alright, we got 5 minutes till we're on.
What? I'm about to pull a Tom Brenneman. Yo.
Can y'all hear that?
Yes.
God fucking damn it. It's my brother.
Hold on.
Alright. Okay. I'm going to turn.
Yeah.
Jay, when you're ready, give us a countdown.
He did.
In the game chat. Can't tell if we're on or not.
We are.
Okay. Welcome back to the studio. I'm Cart, Alec to my left, and this is the Nightly Report with Cart90 Alec, brought to you by USSN.
From controversies in Southeast Texas to the battles for the Golden Trophy in the Collegiate League, the agenda is definitely one you won't want to miss. Swissy's coaching in the hot seat to Crispy's coaching in the Hall of Fame, as the EFC trying to fight for spots in third place playoffs, and the Cincinnati Bearcats trying to perform the impossible and punch their ticket into the national championship.
Before we get into the meat and bones of the episode, a good friend of mine and a colleague has made a very special announcement going forward. Let me just drag him in here. Two-time Ultimate Bowl winning and national championship winning head coach Crispy has announced his retirement with a very heartfelt message in his media in the UFL. Let me pull up the message. Right here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time I announce that I'm retiring from the UFL. I have been in this league since season 2, and since then I've been a very successful head coach. I've been grateful to play with many players and have learned many things from those players. I want to give a special thanks to Trey, Fates, Nick, Ozzy, Gavin, Griffin, Joaquim. These players all taught me more and more the means to be a coach. I will miss this league, however, it's time for me to move on. I'm currently making my own league, and I'm trying to get head coach in ACFL. Hopefully I can end on a good note. It has been a fun ride, but this is where I get off. Thank you, UFL. We've asked Crispy if he would like to join us today, and he accepted. Crispy, tell us more about your plans going forward, stepping away from the UFL and UCAA. If you could take a seat on the couch there, that would be cool.
Gotcha. I got it. Alright. So the plans going forward, finish out this season strong. Obviously, my main goal is to win a final alternate goal, but we got to take it slow, one step at a time. Going forward, however, like I said in my speech, man, we just focus on trying to get our league done and focus on trying to get ACFL coach and just move on to other leagues.
Okay. I didn't really get much of that. I didn't really get much of that, but so you mentioned you're gonna get head coach in ACFL. How's that really working out for you at the moment?
As of right now, it's not going great, but I mean, I can only take it day by day. Like I'm currently coaching in other leagues and stuff, just trying to get my name out there for. And hopefully that'll create something.
You know, how do you think that you're gonna take it if you end up moving on to bigger and better leagues such as ACFL? How do you think that you're going to be able to coach and possibly win a championship in those other leagues?
I think the first few seasons might be difficult, just trying to adjust to 77s and 80s and just to adjust to that new more more aggressive scheduling and just more aggressive like league. But overall, I believe that I could be a very successful coach in CFL, and I believe that like no matter what is thrown at me, I think I can. I mean, when we look at how I joined UFL, I was a first round draft pick, not even on the Nashville Nightmares. I got traded to the Nashville Nightmares, where Soar was a head coach who had won a ring. And so then he quit or something like that. And then I took over somehow, and I started with maybe one or two players. So I think at the end of the day, really, like it might take some adjustment, but I think I can be a successful head coach in ACFL too.
So, what message do you have to your players that you're leaving behind in UFL and the players that you are leaving behind in the UCAA as well?
And to the kids in UCAA, I just gotta say, like, keep grinding, man. Like, if y'all are almost there, I know I know there's stuff going on in that commotion that I'm not gonna get into, but no matter what happens, just like you're taught, play smart. Don't make mistakes that aren't necessary or unnecessary or whatever. Just play how you do it. And then my message to my UFL guys is just enjoy the time you have before it runs out. Because we can only play for so long, right? Like I know I could keep playing, but I want to give those coaches a chance. Like you know, I want to give those other coaches a chance to actually show themselves and show who they are. Because without Sword giving me a chance, I wouldn't be here. I might I might just be coaching a team now. I might go to the league. I don't know what would have been, but yeah, that's
So,
all.
like you were saying, Soar being your inspiration, what would you have to say to all the younger coaches that are trying to one day become into a spot like you? To
That was my question. Yeah.
oh, I thought you said to the players. Okay, so
Really,
No,
I
no, no,
think,
no, no, no. Uh,
uh,
no, go ahead.
really, I think the message to the coaches is be hard on them, but don't go too hard on them. Like with Roblox football, there's only a certain amount of receptiveness that you can get before it's like, hey, like you're doing too much, right? Make sure your team's active. Like, keep doing game nights and like stuff that gets the team together. I know it sounds corny, but it's true. Like, if you actually do these like quote unquote team bonding things, like, it really works. Because back in season 4, when I won the ultimate bowl with Trey, that's what we did every night. We had team game nights. Um, Sometimes we'd have people from other teams join in just because it was fun. Like that's what we did. But then also hold your head up high. If you have to have a losing season to have a winning season, let it happen. Let it all work out. Be the coach you want to be, and then coach the type of scheme you want to. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, change it up. Don't be scared to change it up and shake shit up.
So you're leaving this behind right now, and honestly, it's kind of taking a play out of my playbook. I wish you would have done something a little original here. But is there something that will probably make you want to come back in the future, or is this it? Are you done for good? Do you have plans to come back in the future? Is basically what I'm trying to ask.
As of right now, I do not have any plans. However, I do understand that it was what National Nightmares got taken over already, instead of being a retired franchise. So,
Oh,
um,
who's the new head coach of the Nightmares? What?
unfortunately, I'm not sure. I did not get to choose.
Oh,
I wanted to be retired. With 3 Ultimate Bowls, I wanted them to get retired because I believe they're one of the most successful franchises in the NFL, if not the most successful. Um, 3-0 in Ultimate Bowls have many award-winning players, and yet another head coach come in and take it. So I might have to return, but it will not be next season. If this season after that.
So I would classify you as probably one of the most decorated coaches in UFL history. What would you have to say to Twisty for him to help
Oof.
bring his franchise back up?
Twisty. That was a question I wasn't expecting, especially because me and Twisty kind of butted heads for a long time.
Aren't we all?
You know, yeah. Well, I think what I can tell Twisty is stop being addicted to players, man. Honestly, like I see some of the stuff that goes on, and I'm just like, wow. Let let other players get playing time, right? But keep your starters, and just don't get mad at your team so much. Like if you just lose, put it on you. Stop putting it on other players. Like yeah, sure. No, your quarterback might have a bad night. But at the end of the day, that's on you as a coach. You didn't coach them right. If your quarterback has a bad day, you didn't coach them right. If your team has a bad day, you didn't coach them right. Every single mistake falls onto you and your coaching.
And I think that's really what we brought it down to last night in our show that Alec and I were talking about as well. It's kind of a big, if your team's not good after all this time of being good, it's just lack of caring. So that really just brought it down to what we were about.
I mean, it's one of those things. Like there's a certain level of there's a certain level of discipline to have as a coach in this league. Right? Everything at the end of the day, everything comes back down to you. But if you have a bad season, like I remember, we went what was it? I believe we went 2-4-1. That season was completely on me. I know like I could make so many excuses. I can say Trey was washed. I can say this. I can say that. But I'm not gonna say that. Instead, I'm gonna sit here and say that's on me. We had a losing season. That's on me.
Yeah. And I just want to add on to that that's an amazing head coach mentality to have. Because me personally, when I was head coach and my team, didn't have a couple good seasons, I would take it for myself. I would, and that's a really good head coach mentality. It also kind of eases up on the players a little bit as well. But I think that's a big accountability issue that's going on in Houston right now, and that's also a pretty good answer. So
Yeah, I believe that mentality is really what brought Crispy to having such a decorated coaching career. I mean,
yes,
Crispy himself just being here, the reason we have him on here is because he's a good coach. We wouldn't have just anybody like any little John retiring on our show.
yeah,
No, this guy is probably one of the best coaches that is ever going to exist in UFL history. And to any coaches out there, if you want advice and he's open, you would probably want to ask him about it.
honestly, I got a lot of. I've been coaching longer, kind of, a little bit, but you know, I did take a few plays out of his playbook when I was coaching UFL and UCAA. So, yeah, we have a big mentor on our couch right now. That's for sure.
And another thing I gotta say is when you're looking at players and you're debating if you want to pick them up or not, or you're kind of in that in between phase, don't just get your players to get players. Get to know your players, who they are as a person, right? Because at the end of the day, that's how you make a team stay, and that's how you make a team like you, is by getting to know your players, right? Like, know their schedule a little bit. Schedule around players, and just be smart with your scheduling, but also like get to know your players and who they are as a person. Don't just draft them because oh, they're a flashy player. Like, you know, care about what they do, care about what they do, even if it's you know just the most random thing ever.
All right. Well, thank you, Crispy, for the conversation. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Um, I don't believe so. I mean, UFL, UCAA, it's been a nice ride, and I'm gonna miss it. I just wish they would have retired Nashville, but I guess we'll have to show them in the playoffs.
All right. Well, I would like to thank Crispy for his time to talk with us. Moving moving on to the other coaching situation over in East Texas, Twisty's been seeing some efforts that may not be making ends meet, as his Houston Hornets sit in 2-8, as he is finding himself in a rock hard place situation. I mean, in a rock and a hard place situation, leaving many to wonder what the plan is for him after this season. And joining the discussion with us today is the Houston Hornets assistant coach, Retro.
So, Retro, what is your thought on what the Hornets and really the UFL staff should do for Twisty right now? If Retro's here.
Hello. Hello.
Here he is. I can hear him.
Okay, can you all hear me? Oh. All right, Dub.
Would you like me to re-ask the question?
Yeah, I think you said something about Twisty. What about it?
So, what do you think the UFL staff should do with Twisty after this season, given that it hasn't really been the most successful that you guys really wanted?
So, what Twisty told me is he wanted to tank after he noticed multiple causes of like our team wasn't really working well together. He was desperately trying to get that first round pick, and he was telling me, you know what, just let the defense through, let them get a sack, you know. Of course, I on defense I tried to do my best to get a stop, but as of on offense, I did play shitty at blocking, but I'd always try to go out for a catch. But other than that, yeah, Twisty, I think he should continue head coach, but if another season acts like this, I definitely think he should be fired.
So, yesterday we were talking big time on, you know, you the big um the big question for Twisty right now is you just got back from back-to-back Ultimate Bowl appearances, winning one of them, by the way,
Yeah.
making an EFC championship appearance, and now the sudden decline. That is that's huge. That's not something to take lightly. That's something that needs to be apparent now. So I just kind of want to shed light on the fact that you mentioned that he said he wanted to tank. What point of the season did this occur, and what changed? Why did he suddenly say that after like borderline dynasty that went on the last 3 or 4 seasons?
Well, when I came across, I was on the Cruisers before I got traded to over to the Hornets, and he told me 2 games before I had been traded that he was already planning on tanking because they were like, what, 1-4. And he was like, you know what? We're just going to call it, a season. We're just going to tank.
So after trading for, a top 5 draft round pick in like what, season 6,
Yeah.
he makes a decision to tank after like 2 games before he traded you, right? That's what you said. So I still can't really wrap my head around the fact that he would trade for you and then decide to tank. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing a bigger picture here, but that just doesn't sound like good coaching if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree with Cart because after 2 Ultimate Bowl appearances, winning one of them, an EFC
Yeah.
champion appearance, why would you go for the tank? Because you're at the top of the world. Why would you want to drop down?
That's kind of what that's kind of what I'm saying here. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
now, I'm not exactly sure what Twisty's going on through his mind, but what he told me when he traded for me, he's like, "Hey man, you're going to be a big piece of the bigger picture." He said, "We can't really deal much with our quarterback." And he said, "I'm not that good at playing quarterback." He said, "I'm mainly receiver and defensive back." He's like, "If we can figure out a good quarterback to find in the draft, I'm going to tank for him." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "We're just going to drop everything." He's like, "We're not going to play offense." He said, "Y'all can play defense." He said, "But we're just not going to play offense." He's, telling me
Mm-hmm.
that he doesn't want me blocking that much. I'm like, "Twisty, that's my job, right?" He's like, "I don't care." He said, "Just don't block." I was like, "All right."
Yeah, that does sound a little. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that too much, but hey, to each their own, I guess. You know, this sounds like something that would happen after like 2 seasons of not seeing a lot of success, but
Sounds like the
it
Chicago.
still feels. Yeah, it does kind of sound like Chicago. But even then, they got rid of head coaches every
Yeah.
3 seasons. So if I'm Twisty here, I would stick to my word. I would, build a team around what little things he has, right? I would build the team around that. And this season's a throwaway season since what, week 3?
Yeah.
So once he, pieces together whatever plan he has, I guess. So yeah, if I'm Twisty here, it better team around you for the next season. This is a throwaway season. Honestly, I would say probably, don't even try against San Diego right now. Or if you
Well,
can win against San Diego, you better hope that whoever Baltimore brings up wins that game. So
yeah. I mean,
they're getting a top 3 pick. They're getting a top 3 pick. So
there's definitely no doubt about it. I mean, I've come to conclusion that we have not even like a thought about the playoffs right now. All we're focused on is getting that first rounder, not the first rounder, but the first overall pick. And I'm hoping he builds the team around me. Now, I'm not no deep threat, God's sakes, no. But we definitely have some other deep threats that need a quarterback that can fit the ball in the place where they need, And I need to see him making free agency moves as well, or I feel like this is kind of just like I said, Chicago Bears, man.
so that does make sense, but you're his player. You're his player. So how does it feel? Because you haven't been since you joined the league, you haven't been on a lot of very successful teams. You were on jackpots, my jackpots, which I will admit we didn't do very good, but still, um, you know, San Diego again a little decline, but they had a couple award winners last year and a few nominated as well. So what when do you draw the line here? When do you say enough is enough and you start ring chasing? Because honestly, if I'm in your shoes, drafted top 5 and haven't seen success since. Even your college teams weren't even that good.
Oh.
So Yeah, and trust me, I know that too because I coached you in college as well.
I mean,
So, yeah, when do you draw the line and say enough is enough?
I'm not exactly sure, man. I've just been doing this for fun. I mean, I get very targeted, even though like I follow the tight end rules, 3 seconds, then I'm out. But I don't know. I've never really thought about ring chasing like Nick or anybody like that.
No.
Like TK Ricochet, Unk. Anyways,
Hey! Don't talk bad about my goat like that. This is this
I
is
love.
still a Cart90 stream here. I will glaze him till the end of time.
All right. Yeah, you sound like what's his face? The dude that glazes Patrick Mahomes.
Chris Collinsworth. I said that yesterday too.
Oh my god.
I even made that reference yesterday.
That looked like
Okay, still ain't win a ring though.
hey,
Hey,
yeah.
you shut your mouth. You know who also hasn't won a ring?
Me.
You know who also hasn't won a ring? Brock Purdy, and he's the GOAT. Josh Allen is the GOAT, and he still hasn't won a ring. So you shut your mouth, Crispy.
Alec, when you draw the
Wait.
line, when are you gonna draw the line?
Yeah, where do you draw the line there?
Alec, when do you draw the line? Tell him. Speak up.
You draw the line when you start glazing, Car. That's whenever you open your mouth about.
Okay, all right. Good God. Sorry, it's my nature, okay?
But let's get back on subject.
So, can you kind of piece together a statement for the rest of the team? Like, try to piece together what, let's say the entire Houston Hornets organization is in this room right now. What do you think they'll say on the matter of what Twisty should do if he doesn't own up to his plan the next season?
Well, I feel like the whole team will probably diverge and try to divide away from the Houston Hornets. And you need at least a roster of 5 to play a game. So it's kind of a sticky situation for Twisty if he doesn't, get his game together. I want to see Twisty, come out and be like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And, I'm going to make moves in free agency. I'm going to make moves in the trade. Because I want him to trade the players that we don't use that much, like our backups, for more picks. Even if it's third round, second round, I don't care. We need more active players. And that's some.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah, go ahead.
sometimes that's the main reason why we don't we have so many lost games is because of forfeit losses. I went back and looked at that here recently, and it's because we have so many inactive players that we can't get on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like Hart had said earlier, if Twisty doesn't get his game up and he doesn't really start trying as a coach next year, what teams would you really consider to join other than the Hornets?
we're getting juicy up in here.
Okay, I've never really. Well, so I got drafted to Fairbank, and Tech. I thought it was a good idea, to try playing tight end. Immediately got traded to San Diego. I would go back to San Diego, but the whole team hates me because listen, I don't want to talk about that. It was a funny
Rough.
situation. Maybe the Nightmares. Crispy runs the Nightmares, right?
But he just retired.
Yeah,
Oh,
he just retired, so you're yeah, that
You're
was the
too late
segment
for
before
that.
you.
I don't think I could do
Yeah,
a head.
yeah.
Man,
I mean, you coached in college, you coached, Arkansas State. Doesn't matter if they didn't do very good, but hey, you know what?
Well,
A head coach is a head coach.
I mean, I'll think about it. It's definitely something that's been on my mind for a while because I've always been an assistant coach. And I feel like sometimes when I'm the assistant coach, I feel like I've been playing the head coach role. Like back to what we said about the jackpots cart when we had Cleo I think it was Cleo. Was it you or Cleo as the head coach?
It was me.
Well, when I played on it was the other Jackpots team when Cleo was on it. I swear Cleo was the head coach.
Yeah, Cleo was there, but I was the coach.
Oh, well, I felt like
because I signed him and Nick at the same time.
Yeah. No offense, but sometimes, especially when you were busy, I felt like I was playing the head coach role more than just assisting because I was finding all the bigger trades. And I talked to Twisty about this here recently. I was like, hey, man, I can't keep doing this if you're not going to help. And I was like, I understand you're busy, but, I'm probably more busy than you. I go to, this is for real life stuff. I have a wife and a kid. I play D1 football, and I still have classes. I can't constantly juggle all these things as long as, basically playing head coach.
Oh.
And he completely avoided my question about that, too.
Speaking of, how is Retro Junior?
He's good. I think he's upstairs with his mom.
Right.
What they're doing.
Yeah, how's Nadia too? How's the family? How's the wife and kid?
All right. Yeah, they're all right. We had a good Christmas. We bought some little. There's this circle thing. I can't remember what it was called. It was a little. You put the baby in the center of it, and it's like a little seat, and they can roll around.
Yeah. My brother has one of those. Yeah, my
Hilarious.
brother had one of those when he was learning how to walk. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's only
I know what you're talking about. It's like one of those walkers, right?
Yeah. It's like watching him on a walk. He's a newborn. Oh shit.
Yeah. My brother would always sit in those things, and he would always walk backwards instead of walking forwards because he found it easier to push his feet.
Kind of like
it was actually it was very fun to watch.
But
yeah.
Back on topic. Yeah. Speaking of teams, I haven't really seen any teams that have shown interest, especially I would have gone over and played with Gavin and maybe ran a 2 tight end situation, but I didn't think that'd work out. So then, got sent to the San Diego Cruisers, and ever since then I've been traded around. I feel like a toss around in this league. I feel like a little bird dog.
Oh, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Mighty Q also. He's been tossed around.
Alec, is there anything you would like to add?
Not really. I think everything that we needed to be covered here was
All right.
pretty well covered.
Well, in that case, thank you, Retro, for your time. The EFC has been showing a lot of competition right now between the top two teams being undefeated. However, our focus will rely on the two teams fighting to stay in, as the Minnesota Huskies, who sit in a playoff spot at the moment, have a huge dilemma as the Cruisers play the Hornets this week, trying to see if they have what it takes to stay alive in the playoff battle. Joining us today is Cruisers starting player, Delta. So let's drag him on in here for our final. So yes, Delta. So how is the San Diego situation right now? How confident do you guys feel you are to not only make the playoff, beat Minnesota in that playoff race?
I will be. I don't know. I feel like we might lose.
Oh. All right. Well, that's That's something I would definitely.
Every season that I've been on the team, it's either we lose or we don't even make it.
That's definitely something I would. Yeah, that would be something I would admit on, TV. But yeah.
I think next season I'm going to be committing to whatever team Retro commits to because I feel bad.
Oh,
I feel bad how the Cruisers trading for making that mistake.
so you have no confidence in the Cruisers at all, is what I'm hearing.
Zero.
Okay.
I mean, I still play 100%, but 0.
Why do you think that?
Well,
I mean, the
We
yeah.
have
the
monster
Huskies
hitchers.
only beat the Hornets by over a touch, about a touchdown. So if you guys could really show
You're talking about we're talking about the Hornets. Yeah, then we're beating the Hornets. I'm talking about second round.
no the
Second round.
Huskies, no the
Oh,
Huskies.
yeah.
Oh,
So we're saying
yeah. No
if
confidence.
you guys could like beat down the Hornets, I believe that could show you really have a chance against these Huskies
If I
because
get the passes, because when we went against who did we play a couple weeks ago? Let me check. I think our last game was a forfeit against. Yeah, it was a forfeit, and then the game
Comments.
before that we played. Uh, we lost. We didn't lose. We won, but there was a lot of opportunities that we could have blew them out with when I was wide open in the back end. And Falcons' vision is not the best.
what do you think
Uh,
the Cruisers
So,
could
oh,
do better to increase?
Possibly get a new head coach and QB.
yeah, I was gonna ask about the head coach situation. Well, what's your thoughts on the current head coach right now? And if you were to stay on the Cruisers after this season, I don't know when your contract's up, but
I don't have a contract. I had a 1 year time.
okay. So when if you stay, what coach would you want to take in place of this current one if you know, because you have expressed that, you don't really like the coaching situation that much, so what what what's the plan there?
Uh, there's a lot of good coaches, but 83 lives. Kel, I've known him for a while, but he's an assistant coach for the Bats. So,
Oh,
I mean,
but
so
you could probably convince him to come up.
83 lives. He has experience being an AFL head coach.
so an AFL head coach and to replace, what is it?
Monster,
Who's the coach right now for San Diego?
monster.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. Um, so the other teams in your conference, obviously Houston and Minnesota. So Minnesota's win over uh San Francisco in the forfeit, I think would knock you guys out completely, if I'm not mistaken. So what's the thought behind off-season moves, honestly?
Off season, like signing people or DB.
Yeah, like signing people, trading people.
I'm not sure. Probably, I would like to trade with for a active player, but I'm not a
Mhm.
assistant coach or head coach. So
Like you said earlier, you're unhappy with the current quarterback room. If you had a choice for any quarterback in the league, or if you're
Ricochet,
in the UC, what?
Ricochet, or
Well, he
Panther.
left the league, so that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, or Panther.
He's a good coach. He's in the semifinal for UCAA right now.
Yeah, he's not a bad one.
Couple scandals here and there, but who doesn't have a scandal? Am I right?
Yeah, just don't watch my clips. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I think I will be leaving the team after this season. Maybe retiring. It's a possibility.
you, Delta, for the time you gave for us. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Thanks.
Alec?
I don't have any questions. I think that we covered pretty well here.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think my co-host is busy right now.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Delta. A team that's really down in the dumps right now is a team whose fall off was a lot more devastating than Houston. Making an Ultimate Bowl appearance in the season prior, the Baltimore Bats have not been living up to the expectations following up to this season. And I think that can be admired by everyone listening.
So the Bats, obviously, they haven't been having a lot of luck. Honestly, that's the word I would probably use, luck. Again, as you said, Ultimate Bowl appearance, and now, for lack of a better word, they are horrible. Projected number 1 overall pick, horrible. Now, I am understanding that the head coach, I believe it's 1K, or I can't remember off the top of my head. The head coach for Baltimore has requested to bring up a couple players from the UCAA, and if that transaction does go through, hopefully maybe he might be able to field a team rather than forfeit and potentially lose his job in the UFL as a head coach. So I think for Baltimore right now, I think we talked about this very lightly yesterday in the last show we did for episode 1. I think the plan here for Baltimore is to get some draft stock. Honestly, there's a few pretty good players going into here. You got Tekka going into this. Trash Panda, I think, might be declaring. So yeah, Derpy as well. It's a pretty good wide receiver pickup there. So honestly, get something going for this offseason. Make some trades. Get something going. Do something. Don't just sit here and, lose like you've been doing all season. You just won your conference last year. You have to do something with this organization or you won't have this organization anymore. Oh, what's Jay doing here? Okay. Well,
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Jay, I don't know what.
Okay. So, I, I can, I can, I can definitely second you on that. I believe that really all they need to do is tank because it would be extremely stupid to just have a 3-7 record, maybe get second overall, third overall. Really, if I was their coach, I believe it's Rich Solis. I would I would just tank. I'd lose every game, and I would try to get a really good pick, like you said, an active player, Derpy, Panda, anybody like that. As Baltimore is what has probably the most forfeits in a season, likely in the past 2 or 3 seasons of UFL history. They have at least 6 forfeits out of their 7 losses. They have been doing extremely horrible in like activity. That's what their coach, Rich Solis, he really needs to focus on. He needs to
It's
go
it's
into this
Nicholas. You keep
draft.
saying Nicholas. The 5 is just I don't know what the 5 is there for. It's Nicholas.
Okay. So, so yeah, Nicholas, he needs to really just focus activity. That's number one. If he doesn't go for an active player and he maybe gets, I don't know, let's just use me for an example because I was not very active in UCAA. So let's just say he drafts me, and I maybe show up to 2 out of 10 games. That is not
Yeah.
going to help the franchise, especially a franchise with, like, what did I say, 6 forfeit losses? How are you going to build up a franchise with just an inactive roster?
How do you
Especially when
keep that franchise? Here's my question for the UFL staff. How do you keep this guy around? And I'm not being like what's the word? Exaggeratory when I say this. I go on Discord mobile and I look at the game score. The entire page is filled up with forfeits. That's a horrible look for your league. You are trying to merge the UCAA, and it's not like this is something you're trying to hide because, this is a very big topic going on right now that we'll probably be talking about tomorrow or some other time. But this topic's going to come up, and the staff is going to have the say of our league is dying. It's going to die if we don't do something. It may be the rapid expansion. It may be it could be something going on, but Baltimore's situation, I think, is definitely one of them. You have a team that has the players that don't want to play because they play for a team that sucks. I've seen that so many times. It's annoying. It makes your league look bad, and now you have to take out your child league, the development league that honestly was helping you grow. It was honestly helping you grow, and now you leave the UCAA owner Trash Panda to get rid of it. You leave the staff to get rid of it. And now, do you keep the UFL staff too for letting this happen longer? Cleo is currently on the hot seat. Some people want Cleo gone. So what is the plan here? What do you do not only with Baltimore, what do you do with the situation as a whole? That is a question I would not only be asking the Baltimore players and the Baltimore head coach, I would be asking Cleo, the UFL owner. I would ask what the plan is for that.
Yeah, I could back you on that because I believe that at least a good 40% of this year has been filled with forfeits. Some of them have been on purpose. Some teams just didn't want to show up. Some teams are trying to tank and are forfeiting. Like, this should not be allowed. There should be trolling. Like, there should be some suspensions happening, some jobs dropped, some at least hot seats for coaches. Because there's a good
You gotta challenge them. You gotta challenge these coaches.
yeah.
Honestly, you really have to. But no, keep going. I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine. So at least I'm gonna say a good 60%, 70% of the teams in the UFL have had at least 2 forfeits. Not only stating that, there is 3 teams, 3 that are above 4 wins.
That's really sad.
There are 3 teams with a winning record.
Out of 10, mind you, out of
Out of
10.
10. Yeah. So
That's
is-
not even 1/3. That's literally 3/10. 30% of the league has a winning record. That's horrible. That's a
not a
horrible
good
stat. That's a horrible stat.
what does Cleo when Cleo looks at his league, he doesn't go to the standings and say, wow, my league's competitive. No. If he does, then I think that we should honestly put him on the hot seat and get him out. Because this league is not competitive. All it is forfeits, trash coaching. Like, honestly, we could probably have a 5 to 6 hour episode on just us trashing every single coach in the league.
No,
There
I'm not gonna sit here and trash talk Cleo, because Because me
Like,
personally, I think he's doing everything he can.
he is, but it is on him. It's him. Because why would he let these staff members continue to staff? Why would he not put some staff members on the hot seat when they're not doing their jobs correctly? Why not put coaches on the hot seat when they're not doing their jobs correctly? Like, he's got to do something here because he's the man that can actually fix this league and bring it back to its glory days.
And I think more and more we go on, we play our games. I think we kind of lose our senses of what this league used to be, what this league used to stand for. This used to stand for like a casual league with friends. And now this is a league that, you know, I personally left multiple times because it's not fun. It's just becoming a toxic league. And you know, me and you have done so much for both of these leagues. I mean, that's why we're sitting here, right? And we wouldn't be here if we didn't care. So obviously, our conversation, us sitting here, you know, trash talking the coaches of the UFL, it should mean something because we're not we wouldn't be sitting here if we didn't care. We would be, you know, watching Netflix or, you know, doing whatever. We would not be sitting here having, you know, an hour conversation about Roblox football in front of like 15 people. So, yeah, if I'm Cleo, I would listen to the people, and he's been doing that. He's actually been very good at that. He's a very we the people kind of owner, and I love that about him. I don't think we had enough of those. 3 owners, and I think this is the first one that actually cares about what the people have to say and not just the staff, because it's not just the staff. So, yes, I agree. Something has to change, but we should also listen to the people because I feel like it's kind of getting away from the grasp of it's clear it's the staff's league. It's not the people's league, it's the staff's league. We have too many members to just have that mentality. We have 900 people in the UFL and like 600 something people in the UCAA. Unfortunately, one of those is going to have to go. At the rate we're going, something has to change, and the change that we're looking at right now, I don't like. I don't like it. But that
Yeah,
is, you know, that's a sad thought to have, and I don't like that I have it, but yeah.
yeah, it's honestly not a good thing that Cleo would be looking at merging, which I know he is. It's not a good thing because that shows that this league is at the bottom. It's really in its like dying breath. And what they're doing is they're trying to take their child league, which is almost on its dying breath, and merge them together. But really, what I think that's
Mhm.
going to do, I think that's just going to kill both leagues. And really, all this is going to turn out to is 2 dead leagues and a lot of players that are unhappy. Because
Yeah.
about a season ago, about 2 seasons ago, these leagues have been living in tandem for a while. So why break that? It's like trying to
Well,
remove the sun from our solar system and hope that it will keep working.
I
It's
mean,
not going to.
it's a pretty odd comparison I would make, but I think it kind of does get the point across. Damn. All right. My cameraman just started laughing in my ears, scared the hell out of me.
I know. I got
All right. Well,
it. Yo,
the
can
final
we
topic
turn
of
the
the
music
night,
down?
you know, the final topic of the night is one that can make or break both of these teams in the long run. Of course, it's the Cotton Bowl semifinal playoff matchup between the second-ranked, fourth-seeded Vanderbilt Commodores and the third-ranked, second-seeded Cincinnati Bearcats. What a matchup! First of all, what a matchup! I'm excited, and if you're not excited, you need to get some sedatives because oh my god, that's gonna be a really good game. And Alec, you're gonna be playing in it. So what are you feeling about that game?
Yeah, I know that the Bearcats are a really good franchise because, I started this year off as a Bearcat. I was playing on the Bearcats. They're an amazing team. The only reason I left is because that chemistry, it's just off. Like we would be in a voice chat. I couldn't hear what anybody was trying to say because everyone was screaming at the top of their lungs at each other. So
Right,
really what
right.
I think they need to do is they need to work on that if they want to be able to win this game. Because I'm not biased being a Commodore, but we are probably the favorites to win right now, other than Georgia. If Georgia loses, we are 100% the favorites to win. So I know, yeah, it's going to be an SEC 90. In my opinion, I believe it probably will. But I really like Iowa for I like Iowa for that game. But oh, I don't think you guys can hear him. But so I really think that Cincinnati, what they need to do is they need to honestly just hit the fields, maybe just lock in before this game. They're a good franchise with amazing players, a good quarterback room, and they're going to be a tough they're going to be a tough cookie to beat. They're not going to back down easily. You've seen that was a I believe they beat Baylor, or let me check really quickly. They beat Oklahoma State 92-36. This team
Yeah.
is not one to this team is not one you want to mess with. They are
Yeah.
probably one of the most menacing teams in the league. This is going to be an amazing matchup between two of the highly most anticipated teams to be in the national championship.
I agree. It is big a big step for the Bearcats right now, and honestly, if they don't make a move now, they don't make a move ever, honestly, it's gonna be it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a really hard concept, especially when you have a team that, didn't even win their conference last season. I don't remember who did, but I think it might have been Cincinnati, was it? I don't
I,
remember. I wasn't here at the end of the season,
I
but
believe it was Baylor. Let me check.
might have been Baylor. Now that I think about it, it might have been Baylor because I think they
It
were in
was
the
Oklahoma
playoffs, weren't
State.
they?
Oklahoma State. Baylor didn't exist
We
last
were
year.
close. We were close. Doesn't even matter. But the point is, something's got to happen for Cincinnati. We talked about Iowa, Georgia last night, and I'll kind of bring up something I said from last night as well. We have to we have to look at the practice schedule. We have to look at how they're practicing. We have to look at what they're studying because Vanderbilt, honestly, Georgia made light work of them, but it was because of a laggy server for, I guess, Vanderbilt or whatever. Georgia had no problem with it, so I don't know what happened there, but Trash Panda, a Heisman favorite right now, had a bad game. So if you can get him back on that bad game, that might help you a ton. That God, that might do numbers for you. So it's
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you there, Cart. Uh,
yeah.
I don't want Panda to like this me or something, but Cincy, honestly, if they could find like a VOD or something from that game, they would need to watch film on that as a team. See, look at Panda's weaknesses, look at how he throws the ball, and honestly, just lock in on defense and maybe get a quarterback, some backup or something to try to replicate Panda's passing style in a practice. Anything that could help you get used to this team because it's not going to be easy and they need to find a way to really get in there and try to lock it up.
Yeah, honestly, I think I think you hit it right on the nose. You gotta work on something that'll help, and you gotta work on, strategies. This is a strategic game. This is a very mindset-oriented game. You don't have a good mindset going into this, you don't have a good strategy going into this, you're not gonna do very well. And I think I think that uh, I think that if Cincinnati really wants to win, they really want to win, they can, like you said, look at they can look at film, they can do whatever. The Tennessee Vanderbilt game is on the YouTube from the last one. So do your study, do your work. But I'm going to leave off on this note. Cincinnati, do something right. You had a good season. You had one loss. You had a great season, and then you almost punched Baylor to oblivion in the Big Ten championship. You had a great season. You went 5-1. You have a first round bye. I really hope you had that. I really hope you used that bye week to your advantage. I really do. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that this isn't a low maintenance league. You want to do good, obviously you have to put in the work. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes progress. Whatever you want to do, you have to make sure you have a good mindset going into this. Well rested, drink your water. Christ, that does help people. For Ricochet, it was weed. So if you put yours truly on here, I'm gonna hurt you. But yeah, no.
Okay, but I think that's a great note to leave off on, Cart. And thank you to everyone listening in or watching this on the USSN YouTube. I will see you. This has been episode 2 of USSN's Nightly Report with Cart90 to my left and Alec, me.
Before we sign off, I just want to have a quick little word. We do have a couple big games coming up with USSN. USSN Broadcast Team 1 will be covering the Cotton Bowl, with USSN 2 covering the Peach Bowl. And don't forget the UFL big headline games between the Houston Hornets and the San Diego Cruisers, alongside the top 2 teams in the league, the Nashville Nightmares and the Fairbanks Reindeer. And with that, we'll be signing off with USSN Nightly Report with Cart90 and Alec.